This is day 3 of the Washington BDR. We are heading out of Ellensburg, which was a nice little town. We are heading to Chelan today. We're actually going to do sections 3 and 4 in theory. First section's 104 miles, I believe. Second section is 77, or I may have that backwards. Anyway, 181 total miles. Yesterday we did 122, so about 50% further. So it's going to have to be a lot easier terrain for us to make that today. So we'll see how it goes. Cool little, this is early into the ride, cool little 1-lane paved road. Apparently somebody's been, beautifying it in some way, but you get a good view of the town over there, so we're climbing pretty fast. Must be some houses or something up here, because you see a wind farm in the distance. There must be some houses or something up here, because it's a paved road. We did just pass a truck just a second ago going the opposite direction, so still on that same road, but it's been kind of interesting, pretty narrow through the trees back there, and it smells like a Christmas tree farm. I don't know if they're Fraser firs or what, but like I said, it smells like you're in a Christmas tree farm. We're at the top of this mountain. Good view. Not exactly sure what happened to all these trees up here, but they're all dead. There's cattle up here. Just had a cow run across the road in front of me. Honked at him a couple times and got him moving out of the way. To the top of the mountain. That's Rainier over there. Got a panoramic view. It looks great, and we're moving on. To the ridge. Got a great view. I realize showing it on the video doesn't do it justice, but we're on top of a mountain on a ridge. A lot of trees down, Somebody came up here and worked their tail off to cut all this stuff up. Okay, we stopped along the trail. We're on the descent of that mountain. Stopped for another scenic view. You may be tired of seeing scenic overlooks, but certainly beautiful. Big canyon. Pretty awesome. So we climbed this, and now we're starting down. Brad unfortunately ran off the road here. He's stuck in the mud. We're going to try to hook some straps up to it and yank it out of there. He hit a bump, and it kind of shot him off to the side, and now he's stuck in the mud, and he and Jason couldn't get it out. So we're going to hook some straps to it, and hopefully all 4 of us will be able to get it. Another beautiful hillside, and I don't know if you saw that on that hump right there, but there were some of the faster bikes or better riders are going up on that hump and doing a little fishtail there. This is a pretty, you can't tell again on the video, but it's pretty steep descent. And you see that turn right there. I don't know if you can tell how slow I'm going, but pretty slow. Just trying to control the bike to go around that corner. Those are some pretty tight turns. A little bit of rock here, but anyhow, it's enjoyable. That's why you practice doing this kind of riding. Okay, I'm going to say this is the hardest section that we have done, even harder than the Baby Head Hills. You can't tell on this video, but this is dramatically steeper than what it looks like. There were 5 dips in a row. Beautiful scenery, obviously, but 5 dips in a row that probably were about a 12-foot drop off, real steep. Again, the video doesn't show it that way, but it was very steep. All of us made it through until the very last dip, and Jim unfortunately misshifted as he was climbing the very last hill and hit neutral and rolled backwards. So we lifted his bike up, and we're gonna push it back, and I'll get a shot of him climbing this little hill here again. You know, I hate that this video doesn't do justice to how steep and rocky this is. Jim's getting ready to make his shot. Again, not nearly as tough looking on this video. He's got to get a running start at it, and he's going to hit the gas pretty hard, so we'll see what happens. Pretty big rock right in the middle. He missed it. Got a little bit of a bunny hop there. But anyway, really tough section, but enjoyable. Thought I'd show you a little damage I got on the bike. If you look down there, my shifter has gotten bent, and then there's a protector for the cable that connects to the kickstand that tells the bike whether it should start or not, whether if it's in gear and the kickstand's down, it won't start. So you need something to protect that cable in case it gets cut and then your bike won't start. Hit a big rock, didn't even see it. It must have been, you know, in the brush or something, because I was kind of cutting one side close. But you know, you deal with that so that you can see views like that. Well, I can tell that we're coming up to an area that I think we're going to get some good views, and sure enough, there it is. There's a turnout up here, you know, scenic overlook and whatnot. So this is about the 4,000th scenic overlook you've seen, but you know, every one of them's got a little bit of a different look to it, got a little bit different beauty to it, and it's worth the stop that we've done here, the quick stop. You see some trails, some single track trails up there, so I think probably hikers and maybe some single track motorcycle riders are heading off up there on those spots, but that's not for us. You know, it's still, you know, you can tell that this road's fairly wide, fairly smooth. Obviously somebody's grading it periodically. It's not all rutted out. Got some light gravel on it, so our traction's pretty good on this. Pretty trees, and of course you can see in the distance there's just views really everywhere. We're down on asphalt again, and I just saw this Defender truck go by as we were turning onto this road, and I thought I'd give us a look, and hopefully we'll be passing it soon, and you can see a look at it from the side. Pretty cool old truck. My guess is it's, you know, from back in the 60s or 70s, something like that. And you don't see many Defender trucks around, and so I thought I'd give a look at it from behind, and then again hopefully we'll pass it, but it doesn't appear that Jim wants to pass it, so we're just going to sit back here for a little while. Hopefully we'll some of these cars will go by and he'll pass it. But we're transferring now from one gravel or off-road unpaved road to another as we go down this highway. So unfortunately we just caught the side of the Defender pretty quickly, but cool truck. I wanted to take a picture. Okay, well, we've gotten off of that main road we were on. We're still obviously on asphalt, but since we're in this canyon and there's some little twisty roads, and we're, you know, picking up the speed a little bit. You see my speedometer shows, you know, anywhere from 40, 39 there up to 48 so far. But this is what makes motorcycle riding fun, going through these little curvy sections, these little twisty sections, and get a little speed on the bike and leaning it over, especially when you got beautiful scenery to look at while you're doing it. You see there's speed limit or suggested speed of 25, and we're going through at, you know, mid 40s or so the bike can do, you know, about 20 miles an hour past whatever the speed limit or the suggested speed shows. Well, here's some more twisties. We're obviously in that same canyon that we were in. You can see the mountains and the topography and whatnot looks the same, but you know, I saw some some more twisties coming up, and I thought it'd be fun to show them, especially these tight little corners like this one. Certainly put a little fear into you, but a lot of fun at the same time. Especially, like I said, these ones where you're going pretty slow, or the suggested speed is slow, but we carry quite a bit more speed than they show. Back on the gravel and dirt. Nice little valley here. It's, you know, fairly hard packed, and so traction's good. You see a little bit of gravel there, a couple of rocks that were a little bit larger, but traction's good. So this is a fun area just because you're off the paved road, and because the scenery is so beautiful. Not sure why Jim's stopping, but we're going to stop. So we're back into the, you know, I'll call it twisties, although it's obviously not the same thing as doing it on road. You see a little dust there, so Jim's just around the next corner or two. Fair, medium-sized decline that we're going down here. Obviously pine trees on each side. Nice view, not too difficult at all from a riding standpoint, so just get to kind of relax and enjoy it. Every now and then, like you'll see in this section, pretty heavy gravel. It's big gravel, so I think that's just where there's been some erosion in the past or something. So we've come up on this overlander here, and he's got a trailer, and obviously he wants to shoot the bull. Looks like a older gentleman who's by himself, obviously kicking up a bunch of dust. So we'll say hi and let him move on. We're going to have to let that dust settle a little bit before we take off. Not seeing many vehicles out here at all. A little bit of a sandy section here. You can see how the dirt's piled up on the sides and in the middle. Obviously got another beautiful view out to the right, but really just wanted to take this shot so that you can see the sandy conditions. You just shift your weight a little bit back on the motorcycle, and it'll hopefully you lighten the front end a little bit and kind of use it just to steer, and put a little bit more weight on the back so that you get good traction, and you can go through this stuff okay. It starts getting a little bit deeper than that, and that's when you start running into problems. So we're reaching the top of another mountain right along this ridge here, and got great views out in the distance. Just thought I'd show you the 4001st beautiful scene that I've gotten to see as we go on this ride. Anyway, as you can see, the road conditions are good, nothing too tough here, and as we go out to this little point here and make the turn back to the right, you get some really good views of the mountains in the distance, which I'm trying to turn my head that way so that you can see them. I thought I'd just show you again how obviously got good scenery in the background, but how steep some of these sides of some of these ridges are. So you obviously wouldn't want to go off that. I mean, there's no barricades of safety protection at all, as you can imagine. So you get off the edge and that bike's gone, and hopefully you're not, but it'll be a long time before that bike starts tumbling, stops. So we're reaching the top of another mountain. Of course, that's where you get your best views, not 100% of the time, but I don't know, probably see 270 degrees from this vantage point. So really awesome. A lot of trees obviously on the mountains below, which we're not seeing too much of. If you look straight in front of us, you see some single track. So again, probably some hikers, but also some single track bike riders probably going up that direction, which I think if it's single track, it's even tougher than what we're doing. Not as much margin for error, obviously. More of what I've been showing you. Of course, we're on the other side of the mountain now, so we're seeing all the views out to the left, but again, probably got 270 degrees worth of view, and it's hard to pass that up when you're videoing. You see way in the distance in front of me another, might be a single track. It'll be interesting when we get up there to see if that is single track or if that's actually where our track is going. A little bit rough here, a couple of washouts and some a rocky area or whatever, but other than that, pretty good road to ride on. You see a little bit of sand, a little bit of gravel, but mostly it's hard packed. So I'm a little concerned that we may end up on that path straight in front of us. That sure doesn't look like something that's at my skill level. So let's hope that there's some kind of turn off right before we get there. And sure enough, there it is. I'm sure we could do that. A little track there, but they get a lot tougher than that. So we're pretty much going to stay on the 2-lane stuff. A little bit of gravel and soft stuff here. So that's why I'm shifting over to the left side to stay away from that edge. So a fairly quick change to, you know, tree-lined, relatively narrow road here. Like I said, things change fast. You see how much I'm slowing down to make that corner because this is all tight. And I have learned that even with the helmet on and a riding suit and gloves and all that, when you get whacked by a tree limb, even one that's not all that big, it can still hurt. And so you see me ducking that one right there. Try to stay away from it. At first I was kind of ignoring them and just kind of letting them hit me, but a few of them hit me pretty hard, so I decided that I'd try to stay away from them going forward. But obviously it's neat to be in those little tight areas with all the vegetation around you, and you're in basically a little tunnel. So we're getting to the top of another mountain. I think we're going to get to ride right across the ridge of this one, which is lots of fun. Obviously we've climbed lots of mountains, but most of them the road doesn't go right over the top, and in this case I think it may. So we've got some good views out to the left. May not get them out to the right, but still it's fun to go right over the top. Pretty hot, hot day. Lots of liquids. We're hydrating a lot. Make sure we don't get dried out. I'll just let the video roll, and you can see the snow-capped mountains in the distance, and enjoy it. So we're riding another ridge here, and looks like we got views on both sides. Can't really see that well through the trees on the left, but got great views through the right. You can see Jason up in front of me, or at least his dust lets me know he's still there. There he is, and marking this corner. You see there's 3 different ways you can go, and so that's why he marks the corner. Make sure I don't get lost. And I'm sitting here waiting on Jim, and now I'm looking in my rear view mirror and I see him, so then I can go on, and Jim's the last guy, so he'll he obviously doesn't have to mark the corner because there's no one behind him. This is really good riding. Hard packed, not too tough, pretty views out in the middle of nowhere. Lots and lots and lots of fun doing this kind of riding. And then you break out with a view like that on the right. You just can't beat it. Okay, we're on a pretty steep descent here, so I thought I'd take a little bit more footage of this. Not too steep, but obviously total different skill and different method to the descent than there is to climbing these mountains. The descent's a lot easier, but still challenging. We pulled into the town of Ardenvoigt, and the guys decided to jump in this little creek here, so I've turned around. I'm getting ready to turn around. So that was the uphill look at where we came from, and then I'm going to go across this creek and a little narrow old railroad bridge. Nothing too spectacular, but there's the guys getting ready, clothes back on. So we climbed down in this creek down here and cooled off a little bit again because the temperatures are so high. And this is the metropolis of Ardenvoigt. I assume that's how you pronounce it. Not the most rocking town you've ever been to. But you saw me pointing at the temperature there. It's up in the 100 degree range. So it's hot as it has been every other day. And that's why I'm parking in this shade waiting on those guys, because huge difference, as you can imagine, especially with all this gear on that I've got. And what's the gauge showing? 106, I think, on my temperature gauge right there. So it is boiling, and so we're going to stop to cool off, and we're going to try to keep moving, because with the winds on our the vents on our vests and our jackets and whatnot, pants, you cool off pretty well as long as you're moving. We're back out of the mountains, so I thought I'd show you what the temperature change is. It's showing 109 right now. Hot, roughly 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is another scorcher. It's supposed to cool down next week when we're in Idaho after the weekend's over. But, all in all, again, you see that on my sleeve there. I'm wearing a heavy jacket, wearing gloves. As long as you're moving, you can also see the vent on the sleeve of my arm, and that really helps cool you down. So we're pulling up to a lake, it appears. I'm pretty sure this is man-made. Long lake. It's maybe Lake Chelan or Chelan, however they pronounce it here. Several boats on the water. Really good, really pretty place. Love to be on that lake, especially on a day like today. We've already talked about the heat, but lots of people making use of it today. Really pretty place. Didn't expect to see this many reservoirs as we've seen up here, and obviously in as dry a country as this is, it's nice to have that kind of water supply. And I've seen tremendous amounts of irrigation. The farmers are irrigating everywhere, irrigating huge fields. It's the high desert, not a lot of rain up here, and so if you want things to grow, and obviously the ground's fertile, you got to irrigate. So we're riding along in the Chelan, I'll call it, lake. Okay, a little more lakeside footage. You see on the far side of the lake quite a bit of green and whatnot, and there's those are farms, and they're irrigating obviously out of this lake. And to me, this is real beauty. Some people would consider this not to be beautiful if it doesn't have a bunch of trees and greenery and whatnot, but I love the high desert and the dryness and the mountains and everything that comes with it. So we're on this same road, but you see we've climbed quite a bit, so we're way up above the water, and I saw this curve coming up, and I thought, well, I'll get a video of that, because carried a little bit of speed. You see almost 60 miles an hour. There I am at 60 miles an hour, and well, that's cool. Got a got a tunnel coming up, so I'll go ahead and video through the tunnel so that you can see what it looks like when we go through. A little scary when you hit that dark spot for a second before your eyes adjust, but it's fun. So this is Lake Chelan on our left now, so I'm not exactly sure. I guess when we went through that tunnel, somehow something changed, but I'd like to see that on a map from above, because there's the lake, and it's the same lake that's on the other side of us. So we're pulling into the town of Chelan, nice town. Again, you see the lake off there on the left, so they're very fortunate to have this big lake. Lots of people enjoying. It is hot, hot, hot still. You see me pointing at the thermometer over 100 degrees. So this is the end of day 3. There's all the boats on the water. This is the end of day 3 of the Washington BDR. We just completed sections 3 and 4, and looking forward to cooling off at the hotel tonight and getting ready for tomorrow.